Welcome to our post-game news conference for Game 3 of the Credit Union One West Coast Conference Men's Basketball Championship. We have Portland here with head coach Shante Leggins, and then student athletes Garrett Knuckles and Dante Sensori Hercules. We will start with an opening statement from the coach.
I got to give a lot of credit to Washington State. They played a good game. They played hard. It's always hard to see when your friends, in their season. So it was tough to watch Dave lose tonight, but I'm happy we won. But they played hard. They had a good game plan. I think our team came in at halftime, and they did a really good job of talking to each other before I was even in the locker room. I think they were already revved up. So it was really easy going in to talk to them. They came out and executed the game plan. You just kept me more proud of these young men, so I'm really, really excited. And go Pilots.
Just a reminder for those on Zoom, use the raised hand function, and then I will call on you and you can unmute. But we'll start with questions for the student athletes.
Yeah, Jeff Ferraro with the West Coast Conference. Dante, there was a moment about 6 minutes to go where it looked like Glass had a wide open three, and you came up and blocked it, and he ends up down there with a basket and sort of changed the game a little bit. Just walk us through that moment.
We knew Glass is a shooter. We can't let him get open looks. We just needed stops. I did what I could, winning plays, and then G got the rebound. I ran on transition.
And laid it in, right?
Yeah. Made the layup.
Garrett, you came from junior college, and here you are scoring a career high tonight. What did this feel like, and what got you going tonight?
It feels amazing. Just play hard, execute the game plan, and that's what got me going, I guess.
Did you feel different tonight than usual, or?
No, just play my game, and shots were falling today.
Is that kind of the player you were at Trinity Valley?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not necessarily the guy who had the ball all the time, but
yeah.
Right. And Dante, two pretty high-level freshmen in this game, and you're sort of the freshman that nobody talks about as much. Did it feel nice to have an impact and a really important win for you guys?
Yeah, for sure. Whatever I could do to help the team win, I'm going to try to do it. So, yeah. And
Garrett, talk about his play and what he's been able to do for you guys.
His rebounding stands out to me a lot. Whenever I'm out there, I don't have to try as hard rebounding because I know he's going to get it. But, I love playing with Dante. He's a great player.
You don't want to share a few of those rebounds with him?
Yeah, he gets his own rebounds too.
John, you're good to unmute and ask your question.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
For either player, I was curious, the only time you played San Francisco, who was your next opponent earlier this year, you had a 22-5 lead after 8 minutes on the road, and then it all kind of fell apart, I assume. I did not get to watch the game myself, but I know it was over 2 months ago. If I can take you back to that, if you remember it, what worked so well in the first 8 minutes, and what do you have to do differently to avoid the final 32 minutes?
It's for you guys, man.
That's for me. Our energy, we came out with a lot of energy, and I feel like we've been doing that every game these last 2 games. And we just got to keep doing that. Our energy has to stay high.
Also, in that game, we did come out energy, but then we let our foot off the gas pedal a little bit, and we can't let that happen tomorrow, so we're going to keep killing them.
All right, any more questions for the student athletes? All right, you guys are free to go. Thank you.
Bus. Okay. Thank you. Nice.
Questions for the coach?
Shante, can you talk about Garrett and the game he gave you tonight, and a big time in your season, obviously?
Yeah, when we watched him in junior college, he showed a lot of flashes of being able to play both positions of point, and he could play pretty much any guard position on the floor. And tonight he had it going. I saw him at the end of the half, and he looked frustrated that he wasn't getting some touches. So he was playing well. You go back and you see him playing really well. So we came out of the halftime and ran a couple plays for him to get him going, and then I think he just felt confident the rest of the way, and he just made some shots, some jump shots, and things that he did this summer. He's a shooter. He came in as a shooter, and he hasn't been making any shots, and that's been, sometimes putting his head down, but he's gotten out of that the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and he's been playing really good basketball. And so, he went 0 for 2 from 3 today, and he didn't put his head down not one time. He just kept playing, and you're really proud of a young man like that who has to battle adversity, especially the thing that he does really well. He hasn't been doing well this season, so he's figured out other things to help himself and help our team win, and, you're really proud of a young man like that.
I referenced Foxwell and Glass to Dante, but he's a freshman who's had a real impact on your team. Just talk about what he's contributed.
Well, Dante's a winner. He was coming into the season, and in the summer we were probably going to redshirt him because we had some depth in that position and we had a lot of guys. And so, basketball happens. Things happen in basketball. And so he was pushed into having to play. And every time even from the summer, whatever team he was on, he'd win. He'd do all the little things. He's a confident young man, and he played point guard in high school, so he has some ball handling skills there. And, he's a very talented kid. And so, him getting his shot and him gaining some confidence, I think after like the Stanford game, his confidence dipped a little bit, but it started picking back up and he started really, really starting to play well in practice. And so we started giving him more time and you're getting to see, the fruits of those labels. He's been doing really, really well, and he's just really excited about how well he's been playing towards the end of the season. He's been our best defender all year long, and we put him on the other team's best player more times than not.
That play I mentioned to him about the block, had Glass made that, it would have been a 2-point game.
Yeah.
But instead, he blocks it, he gets the pass and makes the layup, and now you're up 7. How big a play in the game was
Just
that?
winning plays. The game before, he dove on the ground for a loose ball, tipped it out. We got the ball. Foxy, I think, kicked it ahead for a jump shot. And so, he just makes winning plays, and that's what he does. It's not going to come out on the stat sheet all the time, but if you go watch him in person, you can see his how valuable he is to our program.
What do you remember about the San Francisco game? And
We
how
lost.
do you avoid that? Yeah.
We got our butt kicked the night before against St. Mary's, and our guys got really, we haven't played good on the road, and so that was a big game for us. I thought we had an opportunity. We had the ball to, I think, tie at the end of that game, and we traveled. So we played well, but we didn't play well enough to win. They got some really talented players. You up and down their roster, they, 4 stars, 4 stars, top guys in different conferences. So they're very, very talented. We got to come out and play really well. We got to play good to beat them. I thought they really did a good job of using their size early, and then they made some plays at the end on the offensive glass.
John, you're free to unmute to ask your question.
Hey, Coach, I believe this is the first time in this conference that you've ever won multiple conference tournament games, but if I can take you back 5 years, do you take any lessons from your last year at Eastern Washington where you won 3 games in 3 days, either in terms of momentum or quick turnaround or anything like that?
They're young men. They're gonna sleep well tonight. They're gonna wake up. They're gonna eat well. They're gonna have a good day. They're not gonna do much on their legs. They should be able to come out and play pretty well. I think 3 games in 3 days is tough, but I think these young men can. Foxwell's been playing 40 minutes dang near the whole season, so I think he'll be okay. We have a good training staff. I think they'll have him ready for tomorrow's game.
Any other questions for the coach? Thank you.
Go Pilots. How you doing, man? All right. It's good to see you. Oh, I'm doing good, man. Walking up top. There you go. Good to see you another day tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Correct.
No, I wasn't in Hawaii, unfortunately. Yeah.
All right. Welcome to our new post-game news conference for Game 3 of the Credit Union 1 West Coast Conference Men's Basketball Championship. We have Washington State's head coach David Riley with student athletes Ace Glass and ND Okafor. We will start with an opening statement from the coach.
Hats off to Portland. They played a really good game. They came in and beat us in a lot of facets of the game. And it's hard to beat a team 3 times. And unfortunately, they got us tonight in one that was really important. And so proud of this group. It was a disappointing season. I'm not going to hide from that. we got a lot of work to do as a program to get back on track, and we will. We absolutely will. But there's a lot of love in that locker room. Those guys are great young men, and I'm very proud of them for who they are, and we're all going to grow from this.
A reminder for those on Zoom to use the raise hand function, and you'll be able to unmute to ask your question. But we'll go ahead and start with questions for the student athletes.
Yeah, Jeff Ferrato with the West Coast Conference. Ace, I'm sure you would have rather done this in a victory, but you broke the WSU freshman scoring record tonight. Just talk about your freshman season and kind of how it's been for you.
My voice a little raspy. I got sick this week, but I just had a really blessed freshman year. I feel like I came in, earned my spot. D-Rod believed in me for the whole season, and I was with a whole bunch of guys like ND who trusted in me, and we built a brotherhood. And I'm happy I went to Washington State. Like, I'm glad I'm here, and yeah, I'm just happy about the year. I feel like I learned a lot. I feel like the whole team learned a lot. I feel like we learned how to push through ups and downs, and it's gonna make us better people, also better players.
There was a moment with about 6 minutes to go where it looked like you had an open three-pointer from the top of the key, and had you made it, it would have been a two-point game, and here comes Sensori Hercules out of nowhere and gets up and blocks it. What do you remember about that play? Did you see him coming?
Nah, I didn't see him coming. If I see him coming, I would have pump fake, but yeah.
Just for you guys, I mean, it was kind of the story of the season in a lot of ways. On the road, there wasn't the response to the punch, and they threw one again kind of on that play. You just mentioned what was it about maybe as a whole that eluded you guys being able to respond on the road?
I think on the road we got to learn how to play with composure and learn how to stick together. I mean, at home, we have all the confidence in the world, and we talk to each other because we feel like we're home, we're comfortable. But away, when we're in different environments and stuff, we're not in our natural habitat, and we struggle with that all year. So, yeah, I mean, learning that's what really slowed us down. Away games, and we just had to learn how to play with composure. Yeah, we gotta keep learning.
John, you're good to unmute and ask your question.
Thanks. For either player, I believe that each of your top 7 scorers are not seniors. So if everybody comes back, how do you like your chances going forward next season?
I'd like to keep this about this season, please.
Okay. How do you think you did this season considering your top 7 scorers are not seniors?
Me?
Was that for the players?
Yes, sorry. I'll have a different one for Coach later.
Can you say that question again?
Yes, I just wanted to know what you think of your season considering you had so much youth with no seniors among your top 7 scorers.
I think, like, with no seniors and all the guys who are not seniors are the top scorers, that comes with a lot of learning. Myself, me and Ace, we learned a lot this season. I learned a lot about myself this season and what I'm capable of, and what being a leader looks like. Yeah, I mean, everyone's in new roles, and the guys who are not seniors stepped up to that role, and that comes with losses and wins. So yeah, we just learned. It's just a learning process for us, and I learned a lot about myself. And yeah.
Any other questions for the student athletes? All right, you guys are free to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead and start with questions for the coach.
Coach, you said a few times this year, including I think it was after the LMU game, that you guys were close, and it just obviously never got to that point where it went from close to being there. Just as you kind of look back now on 32 games, I mean, what was the ultimate thing that you feel like kept you guys from getting to that point?
Well, I think there's a lot of factors that go into the season that we had, and I think the inexperience is something that I need to do a better job recruiting to, and there's a lot of good coaching in this league, and so we had a good team that got better throughout the year, and the reality is so do the other teams, and we weren't able to improve at a fast enough rate to take those guys over. we got to become a tougher team defensively. We got to be a tougher team offensively that can withstand some of these shooting droughts that we have. My teams have always shot a lot of threes. This team has probably shot more threes than any of my other teams. And there's just a lot of different factors that go into that consistency that we needed to play at this level. And you saw flashes of it at different times. We have a great group of young men. But there's some clear things I think that when I look back at this season that we could have done a better job in.
Obviously, asked the players about it too, but it felt like a lot of the story of the season was defined on the road and just the inability to win away from home. And, that mental fortitude, again, you talked about a lot. I mean, is that something you coach? I mean, how do you get to a team to get to that point where they can respond not just at home but also on the road?
Well, I think it's a balance. Like there's obviously the experience factor of guys understanding what it takes to win on the road and how to keep and break momentum, because that's harder to do on the road. There's also the idea that when you have a team full of newcomers, you're going to spend a lot of time in the fall and the summer implementing your stuff and making sure they understand the concepts and what it looks like. And you can do that to a certain level, which is important. But you also need to just build that mental toughness. And I think we had to spend a lot of time putting in offense and putting in defense, and we got to make them more consistent. And maybe that means simplifying a few things early in the season so we can get a little tougher. Because that's really what it is. Winning on the road versus winning at home is toughness. And I think that there's some ideas that we got to go over as coaches. We got to, whether it comes to recruiting or it comes to the way we develop this team. But we had a top 4 offense in the conference. I think we did some good things where we got the guys playing together offensively. We had stretches where we were really good defensively. Like we held teams to the slowest pace in the conference, and so that means we were doing a great job in the first 22 seconds of the shot clock. We just kind of broke down those last 8 seconds, and a lot of that is just that those fundamentals, those details that really have to be ingrained, and sometimes the best way to ingrain those is through really, really hard times. And those losses that we had, I think, have made these guys tougher, and unfortunately, it just didn't have enough time to get it figured out.
Coach, can you just talk about the freshman season that Ace Glass had for you?
Ace had an incredible year for us. I think what makes it so impressive to me is not his talent. He's talented. We knew he was talented walking in the door. He could score. He could play make. But the way he handles adversity and handles challenges, like I've coached a lot of good players, coached guys that go to the NBA, and he's the best I've seen at taking something that when it goes wrong or a team takes something away or they put him at the top of the scouting report, and I challenge him. By the next game, he's already starting to figure it out, and whether it was defensively or it was playmaking or if it was becoming more efficient, there's all these different steps he had to take, and it was really impressive to see him take those, and like you said, I think he's broke the freshman scoring record at Washington State. It just had an incredible year, and the way he handled adversity was probably the most impressive part to me.
John, you're welcome to unmute and ask your question.
Hey, Coach. The big news out of Poland today is that the school's Board of Regents approved a $20 million investment in your athletic department. I was curious, what does it mean to you to get such support like that?
I think it's a very big deal. I've been focused on this tournament and this game, and I really appreciate the president and the administration and the Board of Regents and everyone involved for making sure we understand how important athletics is to this university.
Any other questions for Coach? Thank you, Coach.
Go Cougs.